All right, hey guys, we're back. Hole number um, 4 here that we're setting up our bag for. And ideally, I believe I went for the rough bump yesterday. I think I got it. I either got it or I was right on the edge, one or the other. I think I was right on the edge. I know I want to give you guys an island hop look as well, but it's also a more unreliable shot. And I also really want to make it. So it's like, I don't know. But, I know I was very close to getting it yesterday. I did get it in Pro, but it might not have been on the YouTube. But we can go for the island hop today. I'll try my best to set it up. It can be holed from the island. The way that, I had some tournament success doing this last round. The one thing that I want to recommend is you need to underplay the wind a little bit. So in this case, you're going to want to play 4 per ring, for example. In terms of, what you need to do with the ball guide, you can see how I'm, using basically all my backspin, putting it to the side kind of like this. You really need to focus on keeping it to the right a little bit because it is going to hop much more left when the wind actually plays in a side wind. So here you are going to see me play it, virtually spot on 4 rings here, and just focus on
perfect shot.
My perfect ball timing, and also making sure that I'm cutting it back to the right. And you can see it's still not quite enough to straighten out that wind. You might want to go with just a hair more than 1 bar in that case, but just make sure that you're doing about a 1.2 per ring adjustment on your wind play for this hole. It's virtually spot on. So it doesn't matter if you're using Kingmaker, you don't have to. You can use, here's a Quasar. I would recommend a Navigator because it'll give you that extra wind resistance. It's the same cost. And he'd be down to a 6 wind, and I would recommend going 5 rings. For this wind, I would recommend probably more like 5.5, 5.6 rings, somewhere in there for this wind. But, do keep in mind that side spin trick, you're going to need to try to straighten out your wind. As you can see, I put the ball guide to the right. It still winds up to the left. It has to do with being, a crosswind, but also keep in mind that I kept it a little bit short and it sprung forward past the hole. So that has to do with it being more of a tailwind. So when it's pointed down towards the left, you need to kind of keep the ball guide short and to the right. And I used exactly about 1 side spin to the right, and it was just a bit on the light side. I could have used, maybe an extra half bar with that wind. If your wind gets up a little bit higher, maybe say it's a 6 or something, then, you might even want to consider using an extra bar on top of that, maybe 2 bars of right spin. Because as you can see, I still missed to the left. So just something to consider. And let's see what we got here. Another side wind. This time it's a little bit more down, but still going to focus on a very similar shot to what you saw me do previously here. Very, very close to a 1 per ring adjustment here. So I'm just going to, set the side of my shot button on the white edge, and I'll just try to focus on, 6.3, 6.5 rings. And just hopefully get that perfect ball and give myself a great opportunity to, at the very least, it's going to be very consistent. You see I'm in there very tight. It's very easy to hit that shot close, and especially on a downwind, it's going to be our best bet to getting that, especially stopping it. But my opponent, especially with a less power ball than me, can pull this shot off, but it is going to be a little bit tough to stop it within a yard. It's going to require, you know, some kind of short hit because he is going to go into, if he tries to play his rings here, he's going to go into a Goliath. I don't know if he's fully aware of that, but that's what's going to end up happening. And when you switch down to a Goliath and keep that same backspin, it's going to
Perfect shot.
it's going to run. It's going to make the ball check up more. So you do got to be careful when doing that. But you can see that it did work out in that situation. And you know, you still can have results there. Just goes to show you that even with the Goliath, you know, part of the reason that still worked out was because it was downwind. So if it wasn't downwind, the ball wouldn't have sprung forward harder with that spin. Usually when you go down to a club like that, you need to take off some of your backspin because it's going to check. But the reason that he was still okay because it was downwind and it's going to pitch forward, which was kind of negating that too much backspin. So good luck there, guys, with hole 4, and I'll catch you guys coming up here for hole 5 momentarily.